everyone, Perilous 3D here. Thanks for joining me for this Empyrean Galactic Survival how-to tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to build a really simple but effective small vessel design. By no means is this the best vessel that you can make, but this is the one that I use personally, and I've always found that it does the trick. It's really simple, really easy to make, and we should be able to show you that in just a few minutes. You'll see how easy it really is. Just to go over real quick the stuff that you're going to need. So these are the things I believe that you'll definitely want aboard your vessel. You're going to obviously want a small vessel starter kit that's made from 8 hull blocks and 1 core. You're going to want a cockpit of some sort. This is the one that I use because it fits 3 wide, which is the same width as our starter here. But any cockpit will do. You're going to need 6 directional thrusters. You're going to need 1 generator, 1 fuel tank, 1 RCS, which is the device that stabilizes the machine, kind of like a gyroscope. You're going to want 4 landing gears, a spotlight, which is something I highly suggest. It is not necessary, it's kind of optional, but if you can't see where you're going or where you're landing, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna want to have a few hull blocks to work with as well to build up your ship, and then any sloped hull blocks or angled blocks or whatever you want to put on your ship, that would be an optional thing as well. Some other optional items you may want to consider for your small vessel build, starting from the first tab here. You may want to consider adding some guns if you plan to go to space and fight some space drones. You're definitely going to want to have some weapons of some sort, so you may want to consider that. Of course, you can add windows if you so desire. Some other really more useful things that you may want to consider for your vessel are a small constructor, some cargo boxes. You want to make sure if you have weapons aboard your ship that you have an ammo box to store that ammo as well. You might want to consider adding some lights to your ship. This will just let you see a little easier, and of course the spotlight cube is the one that I prefer since it shines like a spotlight on the ground. Some other things you may want to consider also are an oxygen tank and an oxygen station. So these are the compact versions that fit aboard your small vessel. You may want to consider those. Refrigerator would definitely not hurt to be able to store your stuff. Just remember that your ship has to be running at all times in order for the fridge to be powered. So you don't want your food to rot while you're on another planet. Make sure your ship is still running when you get out of it. Generator and small fuel tank, we have that already. If you are playing on a server or you have multiple people playing with you on your world, you may want to consider a passenger seat as well. I'm playing on a single player world here by myself, so I really have no use for that. A docking pad as well would be useful if you plan to connect your ship to a capital vessel. That'll ensure that when you go into hyperdrive that your ship stays attached to the capital vessel, your small vessel I mean. And then if you want some more forward thrust, or however you want to work it out, there's other kinds of thrusters as well, but these are by no means necessary to build a useful ship. These are just kind of bonuses. I do tend to add a couple of normal thrusters as well to my designs, but for the design I'm going to show you here in a moment, I'm not going to use any of these. I'm just going to use 6 directional thrusters. And I believe that's pretty much all we need. We've covered all the optional items here as well. Yep, this stuff is coming soon, but not in the game just yet. It's all decoration at this point, so no use to add those just yet. And then of course, while you're flying around, you have your ship built, you want to definitely bring some stuff with you. This is optional as well, but it's a really good practice to do, is always bring fuel packs with you. And as I've discovered, it's always useful to have a couple of extra directional thrusters with you in your storage or in your fridge or wherever you want to put them. And that will just ensure that if something bad happens in one of your directional thrusters gets shot down or explodes, you have a backup. You can land quickly, put it back on, and then, you know, take yourself to a safe place. Let's go ahead and get started with our design here. Super easy, super simple, guys. First thing you're going to want to do is grab your starter kit, drop that down anywhere on a flat surface. I built myself a flat area here specifically for vessel building. But basically just put it down, it'll drop down to the ground. One thing I want to mention here that I did mention in my Let's Play series when I was building my first small vessel, the top arrow here is kind of misleading. So don't be fooled by this and think that your ship is actually pointing this way. It's not. What you want to do is actually, you can remove these outer blocks if you want, and it still maintains the integrity of the ship. But as you'll notice, this arrow here is pointed in the opposite direction of the top arrow. So you want to always use the arrows on the side to orient your ship and to know which way to place your cockpit on top of the starter kit. So generally I take away these sides here, but it's all up to you how you want to set this up. The point being here is that you want to have a directional thruster going in each direction. So we're going to have one at the back. Give me there we go. Using a new keyboard, so it's hard to know how to do this. And you want one in the front. You want one on the left. And one on the right. And then finally we're going to have one pointing up. And one pointing down. And that's pretty much all you need as far as thrusters go. Again, if I wanted to add some more powerful thrusters, I could, but that's only gonna give you more acceleration. I believe you're still subject to the cap, which I believe in space, last time I checked, was 110, and on an Earth-like planet like this one, it's 40. Okay, so we've got the base here. The next thing you'll want to do is throw on your cockpit. I usually don't put a whole lot of thought into this, but you'll want to put it somewhere like that. Okay, and if you care about the look of your thrusters, if you want that effect to come through, the thruster blast effect, you may not want to cover it. I usually cover this stuff up, so I don't really care about that. But if you want your thrusters to appear, then you're not going to want to do it like this. But this is just the way that I do it. I'll usually put my light maybe somewhere like that, or a little further out. That'll do the trick though. Now we're going to set up our generator and our small fuel tank. You're going to want to make sure that your generator can be covered. No big deal there. But your fuel tank, you want to make sure that it's accessible from the outside, especially if you're going to be covering this stuff up. So just consider that in your design. Make sure that it's accessible either from the top or the bottom or the sides. So this is usually how I do it. And what I'll do is, once this is all done, I'll reinforce it. That's actually another optional item, is the armor. You can get armor plating and cover all the vulnerable parts of your ship so that they don't get blown up. But then remember again to leave a space here. Don't cover this fuel tank with armor. You can cover all the other sides, but make sure you have one part that's exposed so you can fill it up, because the armor does prevent you from hitting T on your target there. So that's pretty much all you need right there. I'm just gonna put some fuel in it. There we go. And then the last thing, actually let me add these here as well, since I have them on me. might as well add them. Something like that. And I suppose I could have brought that forward a bit, but no big deal. We'll just add a couple of hull blocks here on the sides, and that'll be good for a test flight. This is all for aesthetics. This has nothing to do with like aerodynamics or anything like that. So the next thing you're going to want to do before you take off is just power up your ship with Y. Hit Y, it'll turn everything on. You can also hit P if you want to control individual items on your ship, turn them on and off. But what you want to do is just basically hit spacebar, take it up off the ground a little bit, leave it running, and then hit T to escape. And you're going to want to add your landing gear before you take off. So probably a good idea. So I may fix this all up here after I'm done making this video, but for now we're just going to do something real simple, real quick, just to show you how easy it is. Turn these around, whoops, not like that. There we go, and you can put them over top of your thrusters, it doesn't matter. Okay, so there we have it. There is our ship. It's flying, it's ready. We're going to get inside and we'll take it for a test drive. There you go. It's flying pretty good. We got forward thrust, backwards thrust. We got left. We got right. We got up and down. So everything's working good. So there you have it, folks. That is how you build a small vessel. Super easy, super simple design. And then of course, once you're done with the basics, you can add stuff on top of it, blocks, armor, weapons, appliances, whatever you want. Go ahead and build and add on to it. Keep in mind that small vessels can actually be very large, so don't let the name small vessel deceive you. These can be fairly large, even as big as a capital vessel, so keep that in mind when you're creating your design. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode and you found it useful. I would really appreciate a like and a sub if you did. Check out my Let's Play series if you want more on Empyrean Galactic Survival, and we will catch you next time. Take care.